Hi everyone, I'm going to narrate the novel Pamela or Which Were Rewarded by Samuel Richardson. Pamela is an epistolary novel written by an English writer, Samuel Richardson. He started to write novel at the age of 51. The novel Pamela was first published in 1740. On the publication of this novel was incredibly popular. This novel provided a moral instruction to young women whom were vulnerably seduction while employed by wealthy men. The novel advocates the importance of maintaining virtuous and honorable conduct, and it explores the theme of class, gender, and inequality. Now we get into the characters of this novel. The primary character of this novel was Pamela Andrews, a 15-year-old pious protagonist who narrates the novel. Pamela is noted for her virtue before anything else. The second characters are John and Elizabeth Andrews, Pamela's father and mother. The third character are Mr. William. He was a young clergyman who attempts to help Pamela to escape from Mr. B's estate, and he delivers the letter to her family. He offers to marry Pamela to secure her from Mr. B's unwanted advances, but she denies him. The fourth character is Mr. B, Pamela's abusive employer who falls in love with and eventually marries her. The fifth character is Lady B. She is deceased, Mr. B's and Lady Davor's mother, and Pamela's late employer. The sixth character is Lady Davers. She is Mr. B's sister. She initially disapproves of Pamela's union with Mr. B for her lower class, but eventually warms to the modest girl. The seventh character is Mrs. Jervis, the elderly housekeeper of Mr. B's Bedfordshire estate. She becomes one of the Pamela's best friend. Um, she preventing Pamela from Mr. B's unwanted advances. Mrs. Jeeves, the eighth character. She is the housekeeper of Mr. B's Lincolnshire estate. The ninth character is Sally Godfrey, Mr. B's mistress from his college days. She has a daughter by Mr. B, but removed to Jamaica and married another one. The final character is Miss Goodwin, the daughter of Mr. B and Sally Godfrey. Now the characters are over. Now we get into the story. Pamela Andrews is a 15 years old maid servant in Bedfordshire, England. Pamela was employed by the kind Lady B. She was an elderly lady who dies at the start of the novel. After the death of Lady B, her son Mr. B takes over the household and shows a keen interest in Pamela. At first, Pamela believes that he never pursue a servant, but he soon makes sexual advances towards her, which she rejects, but Pamela is determined to remain chaste and virtuous. Even when Mr. B repeatedly tries to seduce her and offers her money in exchange for becoming his mistress. One night, Mr. B attacks Pamela. She faints in terror, which saves her from being raped. Now, Pamela is determined to go home to her parents. But Mr. B arranges a plan to have Pamela taken to his estate in Lincolnshire without her knowledge or consent. In Lincolnshire, Pamela is isolated and at the mercy of Mr. Jeeves, the housekeeper, who is cruel and unsympathetic to Pamela. Now, a kindly clergyman named Mr. Williams. He tries in vain to help Pamela. Pamela grows increasingly desperate. She tries unsuccessfully to escape, injuring herself in the process of escaping. Later, Mr. B comes to Lincolnshire and again asks Pamela to become his mistress. She refuses again, so he hatches a plan with Mrs. Jeeves. Mr. B disguises himself as a maid servant and sneaks into Pamela's bed. When she realizes what is happening, she has a fit, so he leaves her alone. Afterwards, this incident was happened, Mr. B's behavior changed, and he eventually confides to Pamela that he is in love with her. He is hesitant, however, to marry her because he does not like the idea of marriage and is worried about the difference in their respective social positions. Pamela is touched by the idea that Mr. B might genuinely love her. Then, after some days, Mr. B leaves the estate and Pamela begins to worry that his talk of marriage. When Mr. B returns, he reads through the many journals and entries and writings that Camilla has composed. He apologizes to her for the way he has treated her. But Pamela insists on going home to her parents. While she is en route, she receives a letter from Mr. B, imploring her to return and to marry him. Pamela decides to trust him and returns willingly to Lincolnshire. Pamela and Mr. B both know that their impending marriage will be controversial. However, Mr. B's wealthy and well-born friends are charmed by Pamela's beauty and kindness. Pamela's father arrives at the estate and he is delighted to see his daughter is now safe and happy. However, Mr. B's sister, Lady Davos, is angry that her brother has married a former servant. Lady Davos forces Mr. B to confess to Pamela that when he was younger, he had an affair with a young woman named Sally Godfrey, and they had children together. Eventually, however, Lady Davos accepts her new sister-in-law. Now, Pamela and Mr. B returns to Bedfordshire and they celebrate their marriage with everyone. Pamela also meets Mr. Goodwin, Mr. B's illegitimate daughter with Sally Godfrey, and she shows kindness towards the young girl. Now, Pamela and Mr. B go on to have a very happy life together, in which Pamela continues to be unfailingly kind and generous to everyone around her. Now, the novel ends happily. Thank you guys for watching this video.